advocacy and supporting the organization financially. So conducting this comfort survey allows us, for me, it's a really great tool for the founder or CEO or executive director to really gauge exactly where people are, what is in their heart. They may have the title of board chair, secretary, treasurer, but are they really committed to your cause? And so with this comfort survey, it allows us to show the organizational leaders exactly where people are. And it's no good, bad, right, or wrong. It's a gauge to allow you to figure out what are your next steps if individuals are unplugged and don't have a desire to continue in the current position that they have.
Awesome. So I was thinking about the board and organizational comfort survey, and that really blew me away because we've had situations where founders they want to transition people who are not active off the board, but they find it very difficult, having that conversation, helping these board members reach the point where they can make a decision that I'm either stepping off or I'm stepping up. So I think the board and organizational comfort survey you just spoke of is a very important tool because I've actually seen it in action before. I think there are also other ways you mentioned in your book. You talked about bringing in new board members, as a result of the board and comfort survey, you may see gaps. You also talked about board training and, leadership training for the organization. What does that look like? What is your point of view as regards that?
Yeah, absolutely. So after we conduct the comfort survey and we come together with the leadership to really get a sense and a gauge of where they are, there are people, like you just said, that want to step off. There are people who, I really want to be engaged, but they may have never had a board training. So we will step in and do an onboarding and a roles and responsibility training for them. Then moving forward, it's like, we need more people. We don't have enough people that are working with us. And so we built out their business plan, their board recruitment packet, and we take that, everything that the organization is about, building out their case for support and their impact statement, putting that together in a recruitment packet. And then we go out and look for individuals that have the desire to work with an organization such as yours. And so we help them do the interviewing of those individuals, and then we map out a plan of action for them. So it entails not only recruitment, but again, going into onboarding as well as some training. And so training is the next step because that's really key. It's one thing to raise your hand and say, yes, I want to be on the board. But if we don't equip people with the tools that they need to be successful in the leadership areas that we're asking them to be involved in, we're helping them fail, and we're failing the organization. And so it's really important that we intertwine training in this. And training can happen on so many different levels. We have had so much success with our board recruitment pack where we are recruiting high caliber people, retired CEOs of major corporations, retired Army generals, people who have served our country and served in different areas and have led millions of people. But those individuals now are retired and looking for something to do. But not only are they coming willing to work and roll up their sleeves, they're coming with their own sphere of influence in their entire network that they can bring to the organization as well. And I'll get a little bit more into that when we talk about donor acquisition, but it's really key to really find people who have a passion for what you're doing. So it's not a pull for them to come and do the work to get the organization to where you want it to be.
Wow, so lovely. I've experienced firsthand the results you can create when trying to bring in new board members. I've seen how, you could get some of those top level executives, some of these colonels, generals. It's really impressive what you've done so far. And in terms of training, I think I saw somewhere in one of my research where they said, boards who are trained, organization leaderships who are trained are 80% more likely to create results to reach their mission, their vision, than organize boards and leaderships who are not trained. So I completely agree with what you said. And thank you for that concise explanation of really recognizing and engaging your leadership. I think this is basically the core of it all. What do you think?
Yeah, there's absolutely 80%. I think we say that it's the 80% of the leaders who are trained are more likely to really stay engaged in the organization, but more importantly, bring in other people to support the organization's mission and the organization's vision. So, training is key. There are so many organizations that we work with that never train their board. They wonder why nothing's happening, because the people that are in leadership don't necessarily know what's going on. They need to know inside and out what the organization is doing, and that goes into our strategic visioning and organizational development planning. It's one
Wow.
thing to start an organization, but it's another for everyone to be on the same page with understanding the mission, vision, and values, and the programs that you are going to be doing within your organization. So we spend, full days, half days working with organizations to build out their organizational plan. And this is not a stagnant plan. This is a living, breathing document where everyone has input. When I say everyone, it is individuals that you are serving, the families, the community at large, the individuals that are working in your programs. We bring everyone to the table. We do community assessments to see what the need is for this particular activity that you're involved in. Because you started this nonprofit because you saw that there was a need that wasn't necessarily being met in your community. And so you stepped up as a founder and said, hey, we want to do this to fill the gap. Well, in doing that, you want to make sure that you bring all the players to the table, that they have a say and a voice into what you're developing. Why is this important? Because then you get buy-in, and everyone then is your champion, and they are supporting you every step of the way, not just financially, but with volunteerism, with helping to host events, you name it. They will step up with all kinds of ideas to support you. Your organizational growth cannot happen and exist with only merely, $500 donation or $100 donation. Again, we're talking about transforming your nonprofit into $1 million organization. And the way to do that is bringing all of these partners together, business owners in the community and others, to the table to collaboratively look at the need that you're attempting to meet. And then these stakeholders will come together to help plan what it is that you do. And I remember hearing you say, Rooney, that people who plan together execute together. And I think that that is a tagline that we should use on everything, because planning is key.
Wow, wow, wow. That's very encompassing. And Sharon just went on straight on to the second step, exploring strategic visioning and organizational development planning. And I like the fact that you're very heavy on collaboration, you're very heavy on collective participation. And I think that's really what makes the difference between a successful strategic visioning and a failed strategic visioning, because it's very easy to pull up any plan, but who's going to bound behind that plan? Who's going to support that plan to work? And I think that's really why your point is really very, very important. And I really appreciate you saying that. What role does Solutions Matter play in helping organizations facilitate this process?
What role do we play? Well, we want to do it all. We want organizations that are struggling and they're ready to throw in the towel, and they just are feeling hopeless and helpless because they don't have an engaged board, or they don't know where the next dollar is coming for to pay for any programs. And they're just out there trying to figure it out. We want to engage with you to help you build a structure with these steps. And we have testimonials of organizations that we work with, starting with someone who just had an idea, and we help them build an organization that they now have incorporated. They have a building, they're doing programs. So we want to guide you through that process to help you get there. And I think the key piece too is Working with organizations that have a great vision, but just don't have the tools and the infrastructure to put in place. So think of us as your team to help you build out what you want to have happen. We want to sit with you, hear your vision, hear what you're trying to do, and we will put together a plan of action to get you there. And so we have so many organizations that we work with that come to us just with their hands out going, I don't know what to do. And they always are concerned about cost. And we tell them that's the least of your concern. Your concern should be about who is going to become underserved if you close your doors. So if you close your doors, you're leaving a whole population of people, animals, you name it, whatever the area is that you're serving, they're going to be underserved. So if your passion aligns with, let's get this done, we're the team to help you do it. The next phase, Rooney, I just want to go into it because it's so near and dear to my heart, and that is building the right fundraising infrastructure. Because you can do none of this. You can be a dreamer, you can be a visionary, we can put together the best plan on the planet, but unless you have the money to execute that plan, nothing's going to happen. And so we, over the course of over the course of the last 30 years, have raised $250 million for organizations because we've used these methods. We have built their infrastructure on, like stair steps to get them to a place where they now can do some donor acquisition. We do market studies. We do a fundraising audit. We help you build a robust resource development program that will help you generate the dollars that you need, not by just running after a grant or having this event or that event. It's strategic. And we make sure that we bring in people, organizations, businesses, corporations that have a passion for what you're doing, but also have the resources to help you get there, that they're ready to write that $100,000 check. So that's who we are, and that's what we do, and that's what we love doing.
Wow. Now, the thoughts, what you just said about writing the $100,000 check brought something up to my mind. And I'm going to take you back to strategic planning, and then we're going to come over to building the fundraising infrastructure.
Okay.
So one of the things I have actually seen is the fact that lots of organizations do the year-to-year fundraising, which can be very exhausting. But with a good strategic plan, right, you can be able to capture that real amount, that real money you need to create sustainable change and really go after it so that you have the resources to successfully or sustainably run your organization while creating the impact you intend to create. So one of the things we've seen is strategic planning can help you, reach that lack mentality, because like you said, most organizations end up underserving those they're supposed to serve because of the lack mentality. They feel, there's limited resources, so they have to plan around that limited resources. But a good strategic planning helps you open up your horizons so that you have a real robust plan that successfully, meets the need of the people you serve, rather than just solve the symptoms or just scratch the problem, right? Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to just interject something that was really moving to me during this fourth quarter of last year. Fundraising really happens, with year end, November and December. And we had a client who, a startup, they've only been in existence for a year, but they've done a lot. They give scholarships to women and girls. And they had no idea kind of how to do any kind of appeal. We've done all of the business planning for them, created their impact statement, looked at all of their successes that they had in the 1 year. And we use our market research to identify individuals across the country that are aligned with what they do and have proven that they give to that particular cause. And so we created an appeal letter. with an outreach that really talked about this organization. And I got a call from the founder to say, oh, we are getting in donations from what you sent out. And I was like, what we sent out, because we sent it out on your behalf, but you were only thinking about your little town. You were only thinking about your geographical area. And with this market research, we were able to look throughout the country to identify individuals. And so that search came back with 20,000 people. And that's huge when you go from, we don't have but maybe 300 people in our database to now having 20,000 individuals that have proven that they give to your specific cause. Normally, we would not make that first touch with that person and a letter, an ask, but because it was year end, it was like, let's do it, because we had a track record. The organization had a track record of success for over the year, and they had documented. They had been on local news, they had been on national news, all of these different things. So anyone would see that, it was like, oh my goodness, I love this cause. They're doing it. They're being recognized nationally. I'm going to give to this organization. So it goes back to what you said. If you are approaching this from a scarcity or lack mentality, maybe you're not to work with us, because we are visionary. We know that there is no lack and there is no scarcity. There is an abundance out there. And there are philanthropists and individuals out there who have a passion for what you have a passion for, who want to give to your organization. They just don't know you. So what we want to do is help you plan, an impact statement. And I use that term a lot. It's basically just telling folks what you do and what you plan to do and the successes that you've had over time, and then bringing them along on the journey. Because you don't want one-time $100,000 gift. You want people that want to be engaged with you long term. And so we have strategies and systems and things in place to help you have a plan of care for those particular donors that will come in to partner with you on the journey to serve the clients that you serve.
Awesome. Wow. That's a real concise approach towards really building an infrastructure for your fundraising. My question is, what role does fundraising audit play in all of this?
Oh, the fundraising audit. I love fundraising audits. We sort of start there when we are looking at organizations. And usually this can be with any organization. You can be a well-established organization that's been around for 20 years, or an organization that's a startup. We really go in and look at what's been done. Do you have a calendar? What does your donor database look like? We have a laundry list of things that we look at. What does your social media look like? Do you have social media? We look at everything to begin to look at what strategies we need to employ to help you build this $1 million organization. So the audit plays a key role. And it plays a key role not only for our knowledge, but it also plays a key role for organizations that are thinking about hiring a development professional. We work with organizations that are established, and I see all the time that they're posting for a resource development director or a director of development. And then in 6 months, I see them posting again. Why? Because they did not prepare that individual for success. And the way to prepare them for success is to have a fundraising audit in the beginning, and then have a resource development or fundraising operational plan. So when that person starts that job and they're onboarded, they already see where all the gaps are. They also see where all the opportunities are. And so they're not spending their first 6 months trying to figure it out. They're spending their first 6 months working that plan and hitting the ground running. And so we see success with individuals who walk in the door. This is what we have. This is the plan. Go and execute. And it's different from saying, here are 120 people that we're going to put in your portfolio. Go raise money from them. Well, guess what? Maybe you don't even know who those people are. And with our wealth screening, we will provide a profile of individuals. So you're not just getting 120 names and saying, this is your portfolio, go raise money. You're having a streamlined, tailored group of individuals that we have screened through the wealth screening, that we know not only have the propensity, affinity to give, but also the capacity to give. Because I can give anybody a list of 120 people and say, go raise money. But if those 120 people don't have a dime to give, you're wasting your time. And then that's why you have this revolving door of fundraising professionals that get burnt out because they are on this hamster wheel of chasing dollars opposed to building relationships. And that's a whole nother subject for another time.
Wow. Wow. Well, all what you're just saying, what's coming back to my mind is the word you've always used. Fundraising is a science, is an art. You need to be able to know the science of fundraising if you want to see results. So I like the fact that this infrastructure process you're putting forward is a very scientific process. Like, you're really collecting the names of prospects, people who have the affinity, propensity, and capacity to give to a cause. And then you're taking those information, you're screening them, understanding who you're dealing with, and then creating a tailored strategy for each one of them. I think that's a whole top dog game. I think that's what we'll call it, right?
Yeah, I like that. Good.
Yeah, wow. So let's go on to the final step. We may not have all the time, but let's go on to the final step, the fundraising itself. Now you have a list of people, you've done the screening, you understand who they are, you have your plan of care, you know how you want to reach out to them. And I saw in the resource you released on how to transform your organization into a multi-million-dollar organization, that there's a process to actually, reaching out to these people. I saw you had a process of, initiating relationship, nurturing, cultivating this relationship. Can you walk us through what that looks like?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I'm excited that we put together this resource. And so make sure that you find that resource or give us your email so we can send it out to you. It is free. It is your guide, your step-by-step guide to transforming your nonprofit to $1 million organization. And so hopefully you can use that. Reach out to us if you have any questions about the different steps. Nurturing those individuals start with any relationship. You don't go on, your first date and ask the person to pay for dinner if you invited them to dinner. I don't know of an example, but when you're nurturing a relationship, you want to make sure that you are on the same page. And so when you are beginning to connect with an individual or family, a foundation, even a corporation, anyone, you want to make sure that you are sharing your story. And so sharing your story with them, that you're connecting with them in a way that they understand what you do. But the key piece of nurturing relationships is listening. You want to make sure that you are listening to what it is what motivates that individual. What's their driving force? You're not just going to come in and talk about yourself and what your organization does and then ask for a check. You want to see if there's some alignment. And we don't set you up for failure. We do a lot of this deep dive and cultivating when we put together the profiles from the wealth screening that we do for you. And so that allows you to have some sense of who these people are, what they're involved in, what their likes are, and what they currently support financially. But you want to start building and cultivating that relationship by building that partnership. And that partnership could be anything for, if you have an on-site type nonprofit where you're doing on-site activities, inviting them in for a tour, inviting them into a webinar or something that you're already doing so they can meet your program staff, your volunteers, and understand why you are doing what you're doing and what difference you're making. That's the key. Everybody, you can do a lot of different things and have a lot of different activities, but at the end of the day, what difference are you making? And that's what people want to see. If I'm going to give you $50,000, what is my $50,000 going to accomplish? And so when building out that plan of care and building out those relationships, you want to speak to your successes. And you see the soup kitchens, and they do it well. For $5 a week, you can feed a family of 5 for a month. I don't know if those numbers make sense, but again, they say exactly what your dollars are going to do. Even with a humane society with animals, if you give $19 a month, we will be able to house and shelter, this many animals during the cold months of winter. Making sure that you have those kinds of language, which we do in the strategy planning session. So when you begin to talk with these individuals, you're talking to them about not only your accomplishments, because some of you are new and you don't really have accomplishments, but exactly what you are attempting to eliminate. Are you eliminating homelessness? Are you eliminating? One of the lives that I did first of the year, I talked about, an organization. It's like, we want to decrease veteran homelessness in the year 2025 by doing X, by doing Y, by doing Z. Have those numbers, have those statistics, and understanding exactly what it is that you want to do, what you're currently doing, and how they can play a role in making that dream a success.
Wow. What you said about listening just got me, it got me remembering the words, it said this way: ask for money, you get advice. Ask for advice, you get money twice, right? So when you are in the act of listening, you are more in tune of asking the right questions to find that alignment. And of course, naturally, the funding comes. You don't
And we
have
do a whole workshop on the art of the ask, and it takes you through the different steps and phases, even from before you even make the invitation to the individual. We prepare you for everything in those conversations. So check that out as well. I think we did a webinar last summer on that one.
Yeah. One thing I like about your process is how relative it could be. You're really you're always tailoring your process towards helping every organization, because we know all organizations are unique, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the good aspect of it all. And I love the whole framework. I know I've seen this work firsthand, and I know this is going to work for any organization. Of course, like we said, it's relative, and you're going to have to really engage Sharon to get that one-on-one understanding on what it really means to execute this on your organization. And like Sharon said, reach out to us, send us a message. We want to hear from you. We want to see you successful, especially this year, because your organization can get to that point where it can be a sustainable platform to create the impact that you've always dreamt of.
Sharon, do you have? I think so important for me. You said it so clearly: sustainable. Our organization, Nonprofit Solutions Matter, we build sustainable nonprofit organizations. We have a passion and are dedicated to all of these tactics and things that we outline with the 4 steps. It is designed not to be one-offs. It's designed for you to be able to replicate it year after year, month after month, and continue to do this so you can have successfully create sustainable organization with recurring revenue coming in. So you're not operating from scarcity, you're operating from a huge vision, because you have the money to support and the people to support the efforts that you want to achieve. And so that's our heart, that's our desire, to build sustainable organizations so you never have to worry about whether you're going to make payroll. It's not a place where you want to be, because you're doing some really, really good work. So like Rooney said, reach out to us, connect with us on all of our social media platforms. There's a wealth of information and trainings there, but I look forward to connecting with each of you and walking you through these steps personally and helping you transform your organization, because that's what we do, and that's what we love doing.
Awesome. All right, everyone, you've heard it from Sharon herself. She's looking forward to helping you just go onto our website, apply to work with Sharon. I'm going to also put the links on the comment section below. Apply to work with Sharon. She's always eager to help organizations. She's always eager to see you achieve your vision for your organization. So that's going to be the end for today. Sharon, you have any last words for us?
I don't. Thank you again for the time that you had me come on today. I'm really excited to have. Stay tuned for later this week. We are going to be interviewing some of our clients that have had a success over 2024, just in a few months of working with us, and they will share with you from their personal experience of working with Nonprofit Solutions Matter and Solutions Matter. And I can't wait for you to hear their stories because they have blown me away. People with passion are the best people on the planet. And so I love working with you. Thanks, Rooney. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Sharon.